I come from an Italian family filled with pride. Both my grandparents and great-grandparents immigrated to New Jersey from Sicily, Italy in the 1960s, when my grandfather transferred to a new job. It was a huge adjustment, but they managed to find their place within their community and create a life for themselves that carried on to my parents. Both my mother and father were first-generation college graduates and learned how to provide and educate for themselves completely on their own. After receiving their degrees, they settled in the small town of Hillsborough in the 1990s and have resided there since. With the birth of myself as well as my little brother 5 years later, my parents fought hard to work their way up the occupational ladder so they could provide for us in all types of ways. Holidays are filled with Italian traditions such as the Feast of the Seven Fishes on Christmas, and my family visits our homeland at least once every few years to connect back to our culture and see distant relatives. As a young girl, these traditions seem to be a part of my daily life. I used to think race, ethnicity, and culture shouldn't matter. It doesn't make someone who they are as a person. I now realize through my own personal experiences how much I was wrong. Both my grandparents and parents took major life risks, such as moving to another country or going to college as the first ones in the family. Their resilience, motivation, and desire to want more for themselves influenced me as I grew up and showed me what I truly value in life. I value strength and hard work, as well as being an independent woman who can provide for myself. While I never had to deal with and will never know what it is like to be racially discriminated against, I do know what it is like to be stereotyped due to my gender. The women of my family who took these major risks allowed me to grow up in an environment where I was taught that I can be capable of anything, regardless of if I'm a woman. I cherish being a woman and value finding a purpose or passion in order to live a life doing something I love. I am a daughter, a sister, a girlfriend, an artist, and an athlete. I am strong, empathetic, sensitive, and caring, independent and strong-willed, yet sometimes stubborn and scared of change. I am a lot of things due to my family of immigrants who faced a lot of change, but I was never prepared for my struggle with mental health. Even though I have many things most people do not, I still found myself diagnosed with clinical depression as a young girl, and sometimes I wonder, how could this be? Most of my friends, family members, and colleagues take one look at me and think she has it all. The people in my life see a white woman living in a predominantly white middle-class community with a loving family, access to quality education, and occupational opportunities, and is able to make friends and meet new people with absolutely no racial discrimination. When people found out about my depression, I was questioned on how I could possibly feel this way. But your family has money, you have such a supportive family, and how could you possibly sad when you live a life of white privilege, are some of the most common phrases I heard as I grew older. It made me question my mental health, and I struggled with understanding if my depression was real. It was as if my race was making my depression less than when comparing it to others. But my race and ethnicity also gave me a wide range of ways to get help that many other minorities may not be able to obtain. By being part of a middle-class family that did not suffer from racial stereotyping, I was provided with top-of-the-line therapy and was placed in expensive clinics that worked towards helping me find my happiness. My problems are real, and I am enough as a human being. Today, I am now questioned on how I could be a teacher when I have suffered from mental illness and depression. Am I the right person to be teaching young minds? Education has always been an important aspect of my life. My parents influenced me in believing that education is the foundation for getting a job, making money, and making a life for yourself. I believe education is important in connecting with people and your community, and it teaches the foundational skills of life. Continuing my education became a little bit more of a challenge. It was hard to get out of bed, let alone open up a textbook and complete homework assignments when I was diagnosed with my depression. I think about how lucky I was to have strong, positive relationships with my family that showed me how important it is to get the help I needed in order to continue advancing in life. But what I have realized is that many students, especially those of color, do not have the same luck I had due to the color of my skin and socioeconomic status. Becoming a future educator means that I get to become the teacher that practices positive mental health and advocates for my students regardless of their race and class, by making sure my students are aware of and have access to resources to get help and speak out about their struggles, and by incorporating mental health strategies into my teaching pedagogies. Students no longer have to look at things such as depression as something that holds them back. Instead, it only makes them stronger. My depression does not make me weaker or incapable of teaching these children. My battle with mental health may just be the one thing that these students can connect to. My battle with depression may be the one reason why a student is able to get help and graduate high school. Mental health is important. Education is important. Our children are important. I am important.
Cameron Conchetta Howell.